Nick, we got to work on the interior. We got quite a few surfaces here. So we've got some leather, we've got suede or Alcantara, and we got plastic, like leather, suede, and plastic cleaning tips for all interior surfaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just going to use the simple things, right? Scrub Monster, ultra soft detailing brush, Revive, and a workaholic towel. Not everybody has access to air. If you had an air system, obviously it'd help you blow this out. So I'm just going to start with a real simple process here of kind of taking the brush and knocking any dust, anything down. We purposely didn't vacuum at this point in time because the car's not in really bad shape. And also, I like to kind of brush things down towards the floor as well. And so we're just kind of knocking off little things with the brush. Again, if you have air, this speeds this up a little bit, I understand, but we're just trying to keep it simple for everybody. But I tell you what, this car, this is an AMG GT53. This has every surface. I mean, you got piano black trim, you got Alcantara, you got buttons, you got a big infotainment system, you got, different leathers and plastics. It's a pretty good example of what we're talking about with the modern interior.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to take some Revive. I'm going to spray it into my Scrub Monster, and I'm going to start up here on the dash and work my way down. Now, one thing, when you've cleaned enough cars, you realize top down is pretty much a good rule of thumb, no matter what, okay? Because you're going to be pushing the dirt downwards, and by the time you get to the end, you'll be at the very bottom, you'll be good to go. So I like the workaholic towel here. We have some Alcantara right up by the windshield, if you notice. So it's really tight to the windshield. I'm just gonna get some Revive on my Scrub Monster and kind of work it into that area, doing my best to stay pretty disciplined there. And
well, you said stay disciplined there. So if there's a if there's a tip for cleaning Alcantara suede, I mean, what would you say the biggest one is? Not oversaturating or not like spraying directly into it?
You can spray directly into it. If you have a whole seat of Alcantara, people get very nervous about Alcantara. You don't want to just soak it down, but could you take a seat and give it a couple light sprays and then work a cleaner in? Absolutely, you could. And so you're even seeing here on the pillar, you have Alcantara. And one of the things you do when you scrub Alcantara is you kind of waken up the fibers, right? It makes it look really good. First of all, Alcantara gets really dirty.
So you say scrub, what level?
Oh, just let the Scrub Monster do the work, right? You're not trying to like rip the Alcantara off. That's a good question because people get overly aggressive on things. And if the cleaner's right and the tool is right, you shouldn't really have to get overly aggressive. And so now we have some Alcantara here, just two small pieces on the steering wheel, and I'm going to clean it using the same process I'm going to do on the rest, right? I don't have to have some special Alcantara cleaner at all. That's kind of a myth. If you feel like you need a special Alcantara cleaner, you need to use a different interior cleaner. Because it's just not formulated properly. This is perfectly acceptable to use. Now, here's one of the things you'll notice about this. This car is not, most people would think this is in awesome shape, okay? But let me kind of reset everyone's mind a little bit about what awesome shape is. If I have Alcantara on my steering wheel, one thing we all know, if I let that get body oil, body lotion, suntan lotion build up, it's not going to be long before I'm going to have to sand it just to get it back to where it's acceptable. And that happens every day. And so you can't just let Alcantara, go. You can't just say, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Luckily, we have a customer here that takes great pride in his stuff. And so he wants it to look a certain way. Believe it or not, guys, this has been driven. Like he's the perfect example of drives it every day, drove it through a ton of rain, drove it, in all kinds of weather. It's been pretty brutal here in Oklahoma here the last few weeks. Even had some tornado warnings while I've been here. And so this wasn't babied. This isn't a babied car. This is just somebody that keeps it clean and understands what it means to drive a good, well-detailed, consistently detailed vehicle. And I think sometimes that doesn't translate to people, and they don't understand, hey, that car looks clean. Well, it does look clean, but the way it stays clean is to stay on top of it.
So, in a sense, a great tip for interior cleaning tips is basically just stay on top of it.
Oh, it's
never let it get bad.
Yeah, never. I mean, and again, who wants to ride around in a dirty vehicle? I've said this on the podcast a million times. Name me a person that buys a vehicle and goes, you know what? I can't wait until I drive around in it dirty. I mean, people are the most excited when they get their car brand new, right? That's your most excitement.
And if you guys haven't checked out the podcast, it's Pints Polishing Podcast, found on all major platforms. Great to listen to get more info. Also, go ahead and click like and subscribe right now. It's a great time to just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, there's our obligatory make our whole team happy that we said it line, but we appreciate them reminding us. And we're trying to grow here by just giving people, sharing our knowledge. And so we got a large infotainment system here. One of the things I always tell people, a couple light sprays on the towel. We got fingerprints all across it. The great thing about Revive is this is going to finish out perfectly with no streaks. So all I did was take my wet side, damp side, wipe it across, and then buff it clean. And we had fingerprints all here, obviously. And so now the question is, these kind of vents. One of the things is you want to move them around. You know, you got different angles, different ways these things go, move them around. This is not, this is not a disaster detail. Right?
No.
This is exactly what I think if we told everybody ideally, what should you do to take care of your car? This would be it right here. Okay, keep your car clean, stay on top of it. Your interior should take you about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes with vacuuming, and you're done. Okay? If you start getting into a place where you're having to spend hours on your interior, hey man, you let it get away from you. And we've all been guilty of it. It's not a judgment. It's just a reality that some people have where they look around and go, well, you can't do that in 10 minutes. Well, doing it a certain way, you can't, right? So now one of the reasons I'm using some Revive in the brush is these are touch points, okay? Hotbed for germs, build up. So now this whole middle console with the way it's constructed by Mercedes, these are all hot touch points, right? Some cars don't have any right here. They just have a shifter and, very little. So for here, these are all touch points. And so go ahead and get in there and deep clean them every time. Again, it took me, about 25 seconds? So this has kind of been my motto for the last, going on my 14th year of owning my company, where we detail car collections and different types of daily drivers and everything in between. This is kind of the culmination of all that, is just understanding nobody wants to drive a beat up vehicle. I don't care what you own. Civic, doesn't matter.
Let's talk about, because there's a lot of vehicles that might not have Alcantara, but they might have some type of suede or different type of sports seat that we see. But let's think about leather, right? If I'm cleaning leather cleaning tips, do I spray directly onto the leather? Do I spray onto an applicator? Do I use a brush? What do I do when I'm cleaning leather?
It's a good question. I'm a spray on the seat guy because I want the cleaner there, and I want to make sure that I have as much to work with. Again, understand spraying is not drenching. Again, we love to see where all these people think that the viewer isn't quote unquote smart enough to understand the difference between a couple sprays and drenching. I like to believe that you guys do understand. Don't drench anything. If you get to that point, you're in a really bad situation. And look, have we seen those in our career? We have some guys in the hyperCLEAN specialist group on Facebook, man. They do semi trucks. You know, some guys, you know, have off-road vehicles and they let them go too long and they gotta, you know, really attack it. I understand that, but on a daily driver, something of this magnitude, or again, I'll go through what I feel is my opinion on a lot of this. I don't care what you drive or what point in your life. I had a beater as my first car. You can make anything a better experience by just keeping it clean. And then there's levels above that where we talk about ceramic coatings, we talk about fabric protectants, we talk about PPF. Look, you don't have to be at that level to understand about keeping your interior clean. I just don't believe it.
I think most people that like their cars, right, like, do like to have a good interior. Do like to have at least clean.
Clean, yeah, clean.
Clean interior.
Yep.
How refreshing it is to go and wherever we're going. Is that ride much better enjoyed with a clean interior or one that you're just going, it's dirty. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got that.
Well, you and I say this all the time. I can't start a road trip if I get in it, my interior is dirty. Mm-hmm. I can't. It will like bother me the whole trip. And I can't get into my interior when it's dirty hardly at all, even just on a daily basis. It just drives me crazy. And of course, my exterior, right? I mean, I want my cars to look right. And I think we're, you know, a lot of us, especially guys watching this channel, you're just somebody that takes pride in your car. And that's a great thing, right? But you see that it's just not this difficult, right? Guys make it a little too difficult. So when people ask if I spray, I'm just doing little half sprays, getting this on the surface, okay, and start working it in. I mean, that's all I'm doing.
You need to be cautious around the buttons or just go right into it?
Well, again, if you just do like a little quarter spray in that area so you can work it in, or if it feels more comfortable for you and you just want to spray it on your brush, I think both are fine. Again, probably for most people, it's safer just to spray onto your brush. You know, they'll feel a little bit better about themselves. And I understand that, but, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I know what's right and wrong or what's going to damage something, and I think some of you out there do as well. And so just be responsible, and you're going to be fine.
Well, I've always found that question to be very, very necessary, because we all know that there's some crazy chemicals out there, right?
That part is true. Yes.
There's some stuff you definitely would not want to directly spray onto your leather seats.
Harsh APC.
Yep. You wouldn't want to spray directly on it, right? You wouldn't. When it comes to Revive, though, I'm okay also spraying direct, and I'm okay with putting plenty of product on the door, on the chair, wherever, because, right, I've worked at a tint shop.
Yeah.
For anybody that knows the way tint's put on a car, you have to drench it down to make sure you get all the dust, to get everything off, and very few tint shops will cover up the door.
Yep.
So, you know, the whole door gets covered in this solution.
Yep, slip.
Never had a problem, right? I mean, plus, how many of us have opened the door when it's raining?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's a rainstorm. The door just gets drenched.
Yep.
So I find it ironic when people are like, oh, don't spray any, not even a button. It's like, whoa, relax.
Yeah.
We're using a good, safe product here.
Yep.
And, you know, the door's gotten wet before.
Yeah, and Slip Solution's a great example. At our shop, we do cover door panels now. We have these door panel covers. There, you can always go to the next level, but if people ever saw what a tint shop does with Slip Solution, they'd flip out, right? Well, if they ever saw how PPF was really applied, I think people would flip out, you know, who just know detailing from the internet, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they have never experienced or watched a shop operate in person. But again, that's a great thing to share. I'm glad you brought it up. You know, because Slip Solution's basically like Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo and water, right? That's a slip solution with tint. So it's very safe. And so, to me, you know, one of the things I get, I wouldn't say frustrated is the right word, but, you know, when people go on the internet and they get, and we have these inlays of Alcantara in these seats, by the way, guys. Oh, got it. One of the things I get frustrated with is when people say, you're not cleaning a dirty car. And I go, That's the point. That you guys are, to me, missing the point. I don't want to advocate for disaster details. I don't want to advocate for owning your car and destroying it. You know, I mean, it may sound crazy to people, but if you really love cars, you shouldn't want to see any car. You know, it doesn't matter that it's a car of this level or any. Why should you want any of it to get destroyed, right? Because remember, if every Honda Civic was taken care of, that'd be a pretty cool car for me when I was 16. I couldn't afford a Civic. You know what I mean? I was just getting my start like everyone else. And it's like, if those were just kept in great shape, just imagine what that would have done, right? And so, guys, this is obviously a car that's been driven. It's a car that's been enjoyed. This guy does not baby the car as an owner. He has us as detailers baby it for him, but he's not sitting in here scared to step on the carpet or any of that. He's living in the car the way he's supposed to live in the car. It's just stayed on top of, right? And this is really why I get the most enjoyment out of detailing, is like, it's just kept right. And I hope that comes across in the video and you can kind of understand how to take care of Alcantara. Don't be scared of it. Keep it clean, don't drench it. Use something like the Scrub Monster, get in those fibers, dry it off, call it a day. So hopefully this simplified a little bit. And like I said, guys, check us out at hypercleanstore.com. We used Revive, the Workaholic, our Ultra Soft Detail Brush, and a Scrub Monster, and we're ready to go. We'll catch you next time.